Good evening, and welcome to a journey that spans millennia. Look around you. From the shoes on your feet to the very words you use to describe your feelings, you are surrounded by the legacy of ancient Greece. We live in a world saturated with commerce and catchy names. But what if I told you that some of the most powerful, most recognizable brand names and concepts in modern life were not born in a boardroom, but on the slopes of Mount Olympus, whispered by gods, goddesses, and mythical heroes? Tonight, we pull back the curtain of history to reveal the astonishing truth. The origin of that famous brand was a myth. Prepare to discover how the epic tales of victory, hubris, and eternal beauty have been subtly woven into the fabric of our modern global economy. 1. The goddess of victory, Nike. Our first, and arguably most famous example, comes from the world of sport. Say the name Nike. It's synonymous with athletic excellence, with groundbreaking innovation, with the ambition to just do it. But where did the name come from? The corporate answer is simple. It's named after the Greek goddess of victory. But the true history is far more compelling. The name, of course, is a direct translation of Nike, the winged goddess who presided over success in war, competition, and art. She was often depicted as a small figure hovering over the victorious warrior, placing a laurel wreath upon his head. When the founders were searching for a name, an employee named Jeff Johnson reportedly suggested Nike after seeing the goddess in a dream. The name, symbolizing triumph and the ultimate prize, was simply perfect for a footwear and apparel company built on the spirit of competition. And the iconic logo, the famous swoosh? That simple, fluid checkmark is not just a dynamic design element. It is the abstract representation of the goddess Nike's wing. Think about that for a moment. Every time you see that symbol, you are seeing the silent, winged promise of victory, directly delivered from ancient Greek mythology. 2. The winged foot of Mercury, Hermes, and other messengers. While we're on the topic of wings, let's consider speed and communication. The winged sandals belong to Hermes, the messenger of the gods, the god of commerce, travel, and invention. Now, one of the most prestigious luxury brands in the world, renowned for its craftsmanship and leather goods, is Hermes. Though the brand was originally established in the 19th century, as a harness and saddle maker, its choice of name Hermes evokes the swiftness, travel, and high status associated with the divine messenger. Furthermore, Hermes' Roman counterpart, Mercury, lends his name, not only to the planet closest to the sun known for its speed, but also to the concept of mercurial, describing someone quick, changeable, and often brilliant. The messenger god is quite literally everywhere. 3. The dark side of the woods panic. Not all mythical origins are about triumph and luxury. Some are about raw, untamed fear. Consider the word panic. It describes a sudden, overwhelming surge of terror that grips a person or, more often, a crowd, causing irrational behavior. The word is derived directly from the Greek god Pan, the goat-legged, half-human deity of the wild, shepherds, and rustic music. Pan was known to dwell in secluded caves and deep forests. If he was awakened from his midday nap, or if travelers unexpectedly stumbled into his domain, he would let out a terrifying, earth-shattering shout. This shout would instantly infect everyone who heard it with uncontrollable mass fear, causing them to scatter in blind terror. This phenomenon, a sudden irrational terror gripping, a group became known as the panic terror, or Pan's cry. This is why the word panic is intrinsically linked not just to fear, but to a collective, often irrational flight response. The concept of the wilderness. God still haunts our psychological vocabulary today. 4. The tragedy of self-obsession. Narcissus and the echo. Finally, let's explore the human psyche. And a word you use to describe a certain personality type, narcissist. This concept is rooted in the tragic story of Narcissus, a famously beautiful young man. His beauty was so breathtaking that women and nymphs constantly fell in love with him. However, Narcissus possessed a fatal flaw. He was utterly indifferent and cruel to his admirers, rejecting them all. One such admirer was the mountain nymph, Echo. Heartbroken by Narcissus's rejection, Echo wasted away until nothing was left but her voice. Eventually, a rejected lover of Narcissus prayed for vengeance, and the prayer was answered by the goddess of retribution. Narcissus was led to a clear pool of water, where he instantly fell in love with the reflection he saw. Not realizing it was his own image, he became consumed by his unattainable love. He could not tear himself away and slowly withered by the water's edge until he died. Where he lay, a flower bloomed, which we now call the narcissus, the daffodil. From this tragedy of fatal self love and obsession with one's own image, the psychological term narcissism was born. It is a profound 2,000-year-old warning about the dangers of extreme ego and the inability to connect with others. 05. Conclusion: a continuing legacy. We have only scratched the surface. The names we see every day: the celestial beauty of Olympus, the destructive power of the volcano Vulcan, the guiding light of the Muse, are all fragments of an ancient belief system that still defines the contours of our world. Greek mythology is not a dead religion, it is the living language of our symbols, our commerce, and our deepest fears and aspirations. It is a reminder that the stories we tell about the gods, ultimately, are the stories we tell about ourselves.